AM 1170, The Answer, KCBQ.
Welcome back. You're listening to Whissel Wednesdays on AM 1170, The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty, joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall with Team Home Loans. And before the break, we were talking with Miss Cyndy Higgerson, the North County Oceanside specialist on the team, the queen or future queen, currently the Duchess of Oceanside, and the queen of open houses.
Correct.
If you want to get connected with Cyndy, again, if you've got a home on the market or that you're looking to put on the market and the agent you've been talking to is anti-open house, they may not be looking out for you. They may just be looking out for themselves. Love to get you connected with Cyndy. 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. So, Jason, I know there's some news that came out recently with what are referred to as DTI requirements when it comes to Fannie Mae loans. So if somebody's listening to the show right now, they're probably like, what in the heck is he talking about?
Right.
That DTIs are now more favorable on Fannie Mae loans. Break that down into terms that somebody who's never gotten a mortgage before can understand.
All right, so we'll start. What is DTI? That is debt to income ratio. So what any lender should be doing is looking at your debt to income ratio, and you should know as a buyer or potential buyer, what is a debt to income ratio and what is mine. So let's just take some general numbers. Let's say the combined income in your family is $10,000 a month, and your car loans, student loans, credit cards, and expenses, say, are $2,000. So that's a 20% debt to income ratio before you buy a house, or, let's say you have no house payment or no rent payment. You'd be at 20%. But if you want to buy a house, and let's say that house payment with taxes and insurance and any mortgage insurance and any HOA and everything in there, let's say it's $3,000. So the $3,000 projected payment plus your $2,000 for your car loans, student loans, credit cards, things of that nature, that totals $5,000 divided by that family income of $10,000. You are at a 50% debt to income ratio. Well, when the market was at its worst, no lenders wanted to go over 43 or 45%. The Chases, the Bank of Americas, the Wells Fargos, they set those like, we're not moving. And then the Fannie Mae guidelines built into their automated underwriting engine called delegated, it's called DU, it's delegated underwriting. They literally put those in there as well. So it's very hard to go over 43 or 45. However, this past weekend, they finally updated that system to give a little bit more flexibility. So what that means for the market and for you is you may be able to qualify today, now that we're in August, that you might not be able to qualify last week. Even if somebody ran it last week, it literally changed over the weekend, and that is good news. So what that means is the government and Fannie are feeling good about the market. Everybody's paying their mortgages on time. People are doing well. They're looking for opportunities. How can we help people get in? Because as prices rise, they don't want to lock everybody out. And so they're loosening those guidelines. So anytime they loosen the guidelines, they're believing the market's good, right? They believe it's good. That's why they're loosening those guidelines. So that's kind of the debt to income ratio on that. And I want to talk about rates a little later here, but any specific questions, Kyle or Cyndy, when it comes to that, things that you guys have seen or things I need to maybe, point out?
So, Cyndy, if the banks are now allowing a higher debt to income ratio and I own a home, is that good or bad for me?
That's good for you.
Why?
Because you could refinance.
Right. And your neighbor can sell their house probably at a little higher price. And that ultimately, like we talked about with the open house segment, should push everybody's value up. Right. So that's, I think, what you're probably looking at.
Yeah, because now more people can afford to buy your home. Now because it was 45, it went to 50, right?
Yeah. So
it
was 45.
Now
you could only
50. Before you could only, let's say somebody had $10,000 a month in income, they could only use $4,500 for expenses. Right. Now they can use $5,000 for expenses.
Right. So in that example, an extra $500.
The fact that person can now afford $500 more a month,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually about $6, $7 $1,000. So that just gave us another
almost $100,000.
Yeah, it's at least $80,000, $90,000.
So
power.
that buyer that maybe was looking in the $400 to $500 range might actually be able to stretch and go $500 plus now.
Yeah.
So if you're a buyer, that's good because now you could get a Fannie Mae backed conventional loan at a higher price than you could before. And if you're a seller, there's now more buyers that can afford your home than there could before.
Right. So if you're thinking, hey, does this help me should I look? You could hit us on our hotline, our text line at 619-663-7355. That's 619-663-7355. That goes directly to Kyle Whissel, broker and owner of Whissel Realty and the host here at Whissel Wednesday. And when there is lending questions, he always forwards that over to myself, Jason Hall, Team Home Loans, branch of Synergy One Lending, and we're able to help answer some of those questions. We do it absolutely free. Even for you right now, we'll actually even pull your credit absolutely free. We won't collect any credit card, nothing. In addition, if you buy a house with the Whissel Team, we will pay your appraisal, Cyndy. So that's for our listeners. We will pay your appraisal if you work with the Whissel Team and the Team Home Loans team. So that's something that we'll give back to you to make it a little bit easier to buy the house. So debt to income ratios are doing well. In addition, rates are still relatively low, right? High 3s, low 4s, depending on the programs, maybe the mid 4s if you got, lower credit scores. But there's lots of programs out there. Me and Jody have a client, happens to be named Angela, has a low 600 credit score, went through a tough position where her husband was paralyzed in a car accident. And when that happens, he was, in the hospital for over a year. She had 3 kids. Guess what? You don't worry about going to work. And so when you don't go to work because your husband's in the hospital, you don't worry about paying the little bills, right? However, even a $10 late payment impacts your credit score pretty bad. So they have received some funds from this accident. She's now paid off all of her debt. Her score is very low, 600. And yet we still have a program available for her to purchase a home here in San Diego, an affordable rate. It's in the 4s with a 600 credit score. So there's options. Reach out to us on that hotline, 619-663-7355. And people sometimes are concerned, hey, is it the top of the market? I bought, 10 years ago and boy, the market tanked. I lost my house. Well, it's a different time. We're not doing the crazy loans. Even I mentioned we got some nice loans. We're not doing stupid loans that I saw happen in 05, 06, 07. Kyle and I talked about it during that time. We knew the market was going to crash. We didn't think it would be this as bad as it went, but we knew it was going to be, it was going to be a crash. We don't see any crash coming, right, Kyle? I mean, you don't see nothing. Soon. And the reason why is at this moment, the inventory is very low, okay? And rates are still very low, and the economy is doing well. Not super great, or nationwide, but it's doing good, right? That's why the stock market's at record highs. We talked about that during the break. Things are doing well. As long as that just continues, you're going to see this about a half to probably 1% appreciation on homes. Definitely per month in San Diego. Thank you, Kyle. And I tell people, if you wait a couple more years, you're going to see rates at 5-6%. You're going to see the same $500,000 house at $550,000, and now your payment that I wasn't sure if I could afford $2,500 is now $3,500, right? And then we may actually see it slow, and you can buy it at $540,000, or you could have bought it today at $500,000 and got the lower rate and the lower payment. So something to think about. It's not a time to wait right now. I think a lot of us are going to be kicking ourselves that we didn't buy in that 2015 to 17 run, and in 2019, 2020, I think it's going to be way more expensive than it is today.
I would agree with you. I mean, all the economic indications, and I'm not an economist, but I got a degree in economics from UCSD.
UCSD, the Toreros. No, you guys.
No,
are
that's
the
USD.
Centurions.
No, that was University City High School.
That was your high school.
I don't even know. The sports program was so pathetic at UCSD. Like that, yeah. They're the Tritons, actually. There you go. I barely even know the mascot because I don't believe I attended a sporting event in my 3.5 years at UCSD.
But you did get a degree in economics. So
yes.
Go on to the economic.
Yeah. So economically speaking, one of the biggest drivers of the real estate market is the supply of homes for sale, often referred to as inventory. When you have a shortage of inventory like we have right now, coupled with a surplus of demand, there's only one thing that prices can do, and that's go up. So when supply goes down, when demand goes up, prices go up. That's in any market. I mean, there was that one guy who took over a drug company, and they made the only drug that could cure some disease
Some
or
sickness
something.
or
It was
disease, I
some,
remember.
some disease, and the guy bought the company and raised the price, and people didn't have a choice. It was the only drug that
Everybody
could
got
treat
mad at
that, and everybody got pissed. But that's the
He
laws
cornered the
of
market.
supply and demand.
Yeah.
He had the supply and there was demand, and he took advantage of that. Well, the good thing for you, if you're listening to the show, is you get to take advantage of it. And you've got people like Cyndy, Jason, and I to help advise you how to take advantage of it. If you are thinking about buying a home right now, prices are going up, and they're going to continue to go up for the foreseeable future.
Unless the ocean dries up, we can build all the homes out there.
Yeah, those floating houses. They do have floating cabins out at Santee Lakes, but outside of that, I'm not aware of any in San Diego. So if you know prices are going to go up, you also know that rent's going to go up. So you got to decide which end of that equation do you want to be on. Do you want to be on one side where rents are going up or one side where prices are going up? Somebody's going to get the benefit of the prices going up, and it's either going to be you or the landlord. I don't know about you guys, but I would prefer that be me. I want to be the person who's taking advantage of that. So it's a huge opportunity. If you don't own a home and you're renting right now, take advantage of that opportunity. And if you do own a home, especially those of you guys that are thinking about making a move up into that larger home, maybe you had a condo, you've got a kid or two now, and you're ready to move into a house, that's an amazing opportunity for you.
I've seen a lot of that right now.
That's the sweet spot in the market, is moving up into that bigger, better home, whether it's, better location, whatever the case may be. This is the time, because values are going to go up. So let's say you own a $300,000 condo and you want to buy a $600,000 house. People are like, well, should I wait? Sure, wait a year. And then what? Both go up 10% over the next year. Well, your $300,000 condo, yay, it went up 30 grand, but your $600,000 house went up 60 grand. So now that gap that was a $300,000 gap is now a $330,000 gap. It actually got wider on you. And there's very few people alive that believe rates are going to be high, or rates will be lower next year than they are now. Rates are likely going to be higher. So now you compound that situation, because you've got a $330,000 gap and a higher interest rate. That gap is even bigger. So the real opportunity, if you own a home right now, is to sell your current home, move into that bigger, better home that you've always wanted, and reap the benefits of the appreciation that is on the horizon. So if you're in a situation like that, we'd love to talk to you. We can walk you through how that process works of buying and selling simultaneously. We can also give you a lot of advice on what to do to your home to get it showing in the best light possible. We have a lot of people who tend to do all this work on their house and then call us afterwards and say, all right, I just fixed my whole house up. What's it worth? We want to talk to you before you fix your house up, because we want to make sure that every penny you put into the house, you get at least 2 or 3 pennies out of it. The last thing you want to do is drop 10 grand on something that's going to add no value in the house. So we really are in tune with how to add the most value to that house. If you want to get more info on that, give us a call or shoot us a text, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. We're going to, Jason, what do you got for us?
Hey.
We're going to talk rates when we get back.
We'll take a little bit of rates, but the buyer's purchasing power. I mean, when rates go up just 0.25%, do you know how much you lose by sitting on the sideline? That's what we're going to talk about coming up right after the break.
AM 1170. The Answer. KCBQ.